Let me set the scene. Los Angeles, California, December 21st, 1937. The Carthay Circle theatre is lit up like a fairy tale castle, and the biggest stars in Hollywood are arriving for the premiere of a film that would forever change animation, not that they knew it at the time. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs wasn't just another movie, it was the event of the year. Walt Disney himself pulled up to the premiere in a limo, his wife Lillian by his side, as crowds stretched around the block. Floodlights beamed into the night sky, camera flashes popped, and the Hollywood elite, we're talking Cary Grant, Marlene Dietrich, Judy Garland, Carole Lombard, Shirley Temple and Ginger Rogers stepped onto the red carpet, eager to witness Disney's first full-length animated feature. But here's the twist. Among all the A-list glamour, one very important 20-something almost didn't make it inside. No one recognized her, no cameras turned in her direction, yet without her, Snow White wouldn't have had its heart, its magic, or the voice that would make the movie so legendary. Her name was Adriana Caselotti, and she was Snow White. So why wasn't she given the red carpet treatment? Why did she almost get turned away from the very movie she helped bring to life? Well, let's just say Hollywood has a long history of treating its most essential talents like ghosts. But don't worry, I'm here to bring Adriana's story into the spotlight where it belongs. The story begins 3 years before that legendary premiere night. Adriana Caselotti was just 18 years old, and like so many young dreamers in Hollywood, she had no idea her big break was right around the corner. Her father was a well-respected singing coach, organist, and music teacher who had a reputation for finding and shaping incredible voices. So when Disney's casting director went searching for the perfect voice to bring Snow White to life, it made sense to give the Caselottis a call. Now, this wasn't just any musical family. Adriana's mother had been a singer at the Royal Opera Theatre of Rome, and her sister Marie-Louise was such a skilled opera teacher that one of her students was the legendary Maria Callas. Yeah, that Maria Callas. Adriana had studied under her father for years, and when she heard about the audition, she wasn't going to let the opportunity slip away. She knew she had the talent, so why let another girl take the role? She had a little experience under her belt. MGM had already scouted her as a chorus girl, but this was different. Adriana begged her father for a chance to try out. When she walked into the audition, she was handed "Someday My Prince Will Come," and in a moment, straight out of a Hollywood fairy tale, she sight-read the entire song flawlessly, without Disney's musical director, Frank Churchill, even playing a single note on the piano. That's when Churchill knew. He was convinced they had found their princess. But what Adriana didn't know was that Walt Disney himself was eavesdropping, hidden behind a screen. He wasn't just looking for a good singer. He wanted a voice that felt like Snow White, sweet, innocent, and pure magic. Even though he auditioned another 148 actresses, including the incredible Deanna Durbin, something about Adriana's voice stayed with him. Looking back, he could have probably saved himself the trouble and time of auditioning anyone else. A year later, she got the call. The role was hers. Disney later described her voice as having a lilting quality that lifted and almost smiled as she sang and spoke. And in an interview decades later, Adriana recalled, "The songs were operatic in style and contained some intricate colorature work that fortunately I knew how to do." Little did she know that this dream role would become both a blessing and a curse, one that would define her life, for better and for worse. Imagine stepping into a recording booth, running through your lines and songs with just a piano for company. No playback, no other actors to interact with, not even a single frame of animation, and to give you a sense of what the final product will look like. That was Adriana Caselotti's experience voicing Snow White. And the craziest part, she had no idea she was working on a full-length feature film. It wasn't until she walked into the premiere at the Carthay Circle Theatre that she realised this wasn't just another animated short, this was a full-length animated feature that was 83 minutes long. Now, you might be wondering how much Adriana was paid for this groundbreaking role. Well, take what you're thinking and half it, then half it again. And maybe again. For all her effort, she was paid just $970, which, when adjusted for inflation, is only around $20,000 today. Not nearly what you'd expect for bringing a Disney princess to life. Meanwhile, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was turning into the most ambitious project Walt Disney had ever taken on. The production went over schedule and wildly over budget. No one in Hollywood believed an audience would sit through an animated fairy tale for more than an hour. They even called it Disney's folly. Even his own wife was skeptical, but Disney believed in it so much that he mortgaged his own home to help cover the film's $1.5 million production cost. Oh, how I would have loved to have been in the room when he told Lillian this. I know how I would have reacted. But in the end, the gamble paid off, big time. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a massive success, pulling in so much money that Disney was able to buy 51 acres of land in Burbank to build the famed studios that still exist today. Hollywood also took notice. At the 1938 Academy Awards, Disney was given a special honorary Oscar, 1 full-size statuette and 7 tiny ones to represent the dwarfs, presented to him by none other than Shirley Temple herself. When the night of the premiere came around, Adriana and Harry Stockwell, the voice of Prince Charming, found out that being the start of the film didn't mean much at the front doors of the theatre. They arrived at the screening assuming they could just walk in. After all, how do you not let Snow White and Prince Charming into their own movie? They were the film, but when they reached the entrance, the ticket girl was having none of it. So, what did the pair do? They snuck in. They waited for the girl to turn her back, dashed past her, and disappeared up to the balcony before she could catch them. Talk about taking matters into your own hands. As the credits rolled at the premiere, the audience gave Walt Disney a standing ovation. As was the custom at the time, Adriana Caselotti's name was not listed in the credits, nor were any of the other actors. Why? Because Disney believed that listing their names would spoil the illusion. He wanted audiences to believe Snow White was real, and to him, that meant keeping the voice behind the princess a secret. Disney was so determined to maintain this illusion that he personally blocked Adriana from appearing on the Jack Benny program, which was, at the time, the most popular radio show in America. Just imagine being a young actress, fresh off the biggest animated film in history, only to be told you can't use it to advance your career. And that might have been just the beginning. While it's never been officially confirmed, it's widely speculated that Disney made sure Adriana Caselotti had a hard time getting other movie roles. Some even believe she was effectively blacklisted from Hollywood, though whether it was through an official contract or just Disney's influence remains unclear. But let's be honest, given what's come out about how Disney has treated its actors over the decades, this wouldn't be all that surprising. At one point, Adriana and Harry Stockwell even tried to sue Disney for royalties, a bold move against the entertainment giant. They had good reason. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had made an absolute fortune, and Adriana thought she deserved more. She reportedly asked for $200,000, while Stockwell sought $100,000. They lost. Without credit and without the ability to fully leverage her most famous role, Adriana faded into the background of Hollywood. She landed a few uncredited appearances in the likes of The Wizard of Oz, where she had one line, and It's a Wonderful Life, where she provided some background singing, but nothing that matched the significance of Snow White. Without name recognition, securing major roles became nearly impossible. And yet Disney still called on her when it was convenient. For years, Adriana was sent on promotional tours, dressing up as Snow White. Puff-sleeve dress, hair ribbon, the whole thing. She did this into her 40s, until school children started questioning why Snow White looked so old. Eventually, she did get some recognition, appearing on The Julie Andrews Hour and The Mike Douglas Show. In 1983, almost 50 years after Snow White premiered, Disney finally asked her to re-record I'm Wishing for the wishing well at Disneyland's Snow White Grotto. It's ironic, really. The same company that sidelined her for decades still needed her voice to bring the magic to life. It makes you sad to think about. Despite everything, the lack of credit, the lost opportunities, and the way Disney kept her at arm's length for decades, Adriana Caselotti never stopped loving Snow White. The role that had both defined and limited her career remained close to her heart, so much so that in front of her Los Angeles home she had her very own wishing well, a quiet personal tribute to the princess she once played. In 1994, Disney finally did what they should have done decades earlier. Adriana Caselotti was named a Disney legend. 3 years later, in 1997, she passed away at the age of 80 after battling cancer. So what do you think? Did Adriana Caselotti get the recognition she deserved, or was she one of Hollywood's unsung talents? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most hidden stories of Hollywood, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And if there's a story you'd like to see covered on the Vintage News, be sure to drop your requests in the comments. Thanks for watching.